in for, Sedano? Look at this. Corporate-grade pinch hitting for a 90-minute Friday extravaganza. Oh, it's going to be fun and frivolity. Let's get to it. Sedano and Kap, the LA Afternoon Drive Takeover. Your Friday afternoon right now.
Where are you, Cappy? What are you doing, Mace? You're not a part of this. Yeah, you know. Where's Cappy?
He's here, but he can't hear anything. Why he can't hear anything? Because he didn't know he was on the air.
Yeah, you're on the air.
Oh, you're here. We're doing the bob, bada, bob. Do you want to start again?
I didn't hear any of it. Yeah.
Do you want to do it again? Brian, can we start it again?
Come on, Brian, put me in programming.
No, hold on. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Boom.
Beam, bada, bop, boom, 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 beam, bada, bo, beam, bada, dee, boom, bing, bop, boom, bada, bop, bada, bee. Yeah, Cappy. Yeah, Cappy. And even to get Mace involved in that. Look at that.
Well, I love the Vin Scully T-shirt today.
Oh, thanks, man. See? Still have love for the Dodgers even after that debacle.
Yeah. I know Mace. I'm glad Mace is there. He's kind of taking his time leaving the studio.
He's just hanging out in here.
He got very, offended, as if I was attacking him personally, talking about the Dodgers.
You kind of... I was talking about a general Major League Baseball concept, and you turned it into me whining about the Dodgers, even though I never specifically mentioned the Dodgers in that particular conversation.
So you know what happened here, Mace? See, Cappy is a Padres fan, even if he doesn't want to admit it all the time.
Yeah.
He's a Padres fan.
Pod squad.
Doesn't work with the Dodgers very well. So you always, as a fan of not the Dodgers, you always feel like, it's always about the Dodgers. I got to make sure that I get that little shot in on the Dodgers. That's all that was.
Couple of things here. One.
Am I wrong?
Well, yeah, here's why. Mace took the word whining and assumed I was talking about him. The fact is, Mace, I was talking about all the teams that lost. And by the way, not you having to speak on behalf of the Dodgers. I mean, Dave Roberts himself afterwards was talking about the format. Mookie Betts, no comment about the format. That's whining. You got time off. Theoretically, that was supposed to be good for you. You were supposed to rest your arms, get out there and practice a little bit and be ready to go.
But what you're talking about is theoretical, and it's in practice it doesn't work.
Well, clearly it doesn't work. But here's the thing. The Dodgers are a team that was one of the best teams in baseball and has been one of the best teams in baseball for the last 10 years. Atlanta Braves are also an upper echelon team. They were great teams that got knocked out. Philadelphia is no joke, and Arizona is an upstart. So it's not like Baltimore is some team that every year you go, well, I mean, it's like the Yankees getting knocked out. It's not fair. It's bad for baseball. I mean, Baltimore's not good for baseball, per se.
Why is that? Wait, Baltimore is good for baseball.
No, what I'm saying is that they're not a market that you're like, hey, the Dodgers are out or the Yankees are out.
Just the market size.
Just saying that they had a great year, the Orioles, but they didn't play right away when the season ended, and they didn't get to catch heat. Listen, that's how the Padres last year did beat the Dodgers. Is they went to New York.
I don't even recall that. How did that go down?
That didn't actually happen.
It was the Pod Squad? You're talking about the Pod Squad beat us?
That's what's in.
Embarrassing as that may be, I will only say, see, you guys are now lashing out because you guys are hurt. You guys are
maybe a little bit, but it's true. I mean, come on, Cappy.
You guys are hurting.
Come on.
Hey, that's what those guys should never be allowed ever again in Petco Park. Those guys. Okay.
Seriously. Oh, they're not local celebrities. They haven't become like superstars down in San Diego.
Those guys should have their tickets revoked. Seriously.
They were superstars for a minute.
Yeah.
Are they the same guys?
They were superstars till they got there.
Yeah, that's true.
Are those the same guys that did that? What was the song that they parodied for?
No. Those are some other dudes.
Those are different guys. Yeah,
those are like little rapper guys.
What was the song that they parodied?
It was like the Pod Squad song or something.
Yeah. Do you know
there's
what I'm talking about?
By the way,
hold on.
there's plenty of bad Dodger songs out there,
too. We played it a bunch, too.
That's
what was it?
That's what it's about.
Slam Diego Love.
Slam Diego Love. Did you like those kids? Because those were kids.
Actually, I do like those guys. Those guys are funny. But listen,
that was God.
Can I just say, because I'm leaving, but I just wanted to jump in one thing. Next week, we get to do these little overlap shows, the combo plates.
Oh, God, it's so ridiculous.
So that means that our show will overlap with Travis and Slee, and we'll overlap with Sedano and Kap. No?
Travis is you were close.
I'm
like,
in
no,
the ballpark.
no.
You're in the ballpark.
No,
yeah.
not going to overlap?
Travis and Sleet completely normal.
Oh.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
Okay.
You,
All right.
Mason, and Ireland will go till 3 o'clock, and then you can hang out as long as you want. John will leave immediately.
No, John's going to hang out, I heard.
No, yeah, that's not happening.
No, I
So
heard
at 3 o'clock,
he's
the
gonna hang
second
out.
it hits 3, he's
Yeah.
out the door.
He will leave.
And
You're
then
right.
from 3 to 5 is
Yeah.
Sedano and Kap.
Yeah.
But Mason is allowed to kind of hang out as long as you feel like afterwards to make
Okay.
it a full-on.
Like today.
It's a combo platter.
And does
Yeah.
Sedano know this? Like, have we cleared this with Sedano?
Yes, Sedano is completely
He's in
aware.
on this 'cause I don't wanna
everybody
cry. All right.
is aware.
All right,
Everybody
good.
is
Okay.
aware.
There was a group text sent out earlier today.
No, there was, but I mean, I do feel like Sedano may not necessarily go for that. I can't go for that.
Listen,
Oh.
I'm happy to do 2 hours if Sedano's not into it. I can hit the door at 3 with John.
You know what? You're allowed to go, but I think you should stay and
I
hang
like
out with
it. I
Sedano
like
and
it.
Kap.
Combo platter.
I mean,
Yeah,
I will
combo
say
platter.
Morales is the only person who replied to the group text.
He really is.
He's
Lindsay,
very
you
excited.
didn't reply to the group text.
I didn't reply.
Well, I feel like I feel like we've already discussed this. As a
We've
group.
discussed it a few times. Yeah,
I
just
felt
letting
like it
everyone
was
know.
something where like the talent could even give it a little thumbs up,
Yeah.
like the text.
And see, that's a good point, Lindsay, because both Sedano and you, Scott Kaplan, text me all day for yesterday and the day before and this morning and 3 weeks ago. What are we doing next week? What are we doing next week? And I told you, and nothing. Not even like, okay, cool, thanks, I got it.
So you feel like a reply is needed.
I feel like a reply would be nice.
All
I
right.
think
All
I
right,
deserve
hold on a
that.
second. Let
after-
me go reply.
Yeah, I would like.
I'll
like
go
to-
reply to the text
You
right
can.
now.
You can still
To ever happen
to 710.
in my life.
Okay.
Send
good,
it, Mace.
Good, everybody.
Done.
I want them
Greatest
all.
thing to
there's-
ever happen in my life.
I
There
love
it
it.
is.
I love it. Here, you know what? I'm going to actually reply to that. There's a heart.
Yo, put a heart next to
you get a heart on that.
Okay, hold on. I'm replying as
All
well.
right, I wanna see-
Cappy writes.
I want to see what Cappy writes.
Yep.
Okay, hold
Cappy
on.
is
I don't know
sending a
if
group
John won't
text.
reply, and that's okay, John. I see you walking by, but you don't
Okay.
have to.
Oh, John's still here?
Yeah, he's going that way. He's going to the sales site.
Okay, I have replied.
Can't wait. And my Bart Scott voight. Okay,
Yeah.
you get a good one here.
You guys know that one?
You
You
don't get a
can't wait.
heart. Yeah, can't wait. You don't get a
Can't
heart.
wait,
You're going to get
my
a
Bart Scott
exclamation points.
Yeah.
you get exclamation points because
Okay,
I like
nice.
it
I
so
am
much.
going
Very
to
nice.
give that
So I appreciate
thumbs
it.
down.
No,
Thumbs
that's-
down.
like that.
You're thumbs downing
The
me.
Bart Scott voice is great. Do we have that?
What
Yeah,
is the Bart Scott voice?
Can't
I
wait.
just
remember-
looked and how do we not have that?
I don't
But
have heart
don't
attack.
you remember, like Mace? I think he was playing for the Jets at the time, and I think the next week they were going on to play the Patriots, and I want to say the AFC Championship game. And Sal Palantonio from ESPN is like, "You're going to play against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game next week. What do you think?" And Bart Scott goes, "Can't wait."
Can't wait.
Yeah.
It was a great line. It was
Yeah.
used over and over again on national sports radio. You never
Okay,
heard it?
I changed it to a question mark.
Okay. Cool. That's better.
Don't fully
That's
understand.
good because then like George being out today is going to see this and be like, "What's going on?"
He's just going to get a bunch
Yes.
of text messages coming through.
He's like, "So are we doing this or
I'm
not?"
gonna play. Leave
George-
me alone.
And,
No,
now, and now Greg is going to get more questions because he's going to be like, "So wait, now are we doing it or not?" Because Mason
confused
Mason
everything.
questioned it.
George's story is going to be, "I was interviewing the head coach from Montana, and my phone was going off."
I forgot to turn it on to silent.
All right. Hey, guys, I'm leaving. Have fun. Have a great
All right,
weekend.
Bye, Mace.
All
Have a good
right.
weekend.
All right.
Enjoy Trav's house.
Bye, Mace. Yeah. So let me tell you something, Bergie,
Yes,
about this
sir.
whole Dodger thing. You know,
This whole Dodger thing.
yeah, because it is a
very
thing.
upsetting.
It is a
Yep.
thing, and
It is
and
a
today I would call it an aftermath. Okay, so I got a buddy of mine who is hardcore, lifelong Dodger fan, and he hits me up this afternoon with a series of texts, and he's telling me, he goes, "Hey, listen, you cannot fire Dave Roberts, right?" This is what he's hitting me with.
No.
And I'm like, well, I don't know what's going to happen here, but I don't think he's going to get fired. And he writes me back. He goes, "Dude, they won 100 games, and they won the division by 16 games. Did they really need to do more?" And then his next line was, "Pitching injuries are a big part. They picked up Yarborough and Lance Lynn, who are both all right." He goes, "And you can't win with Mookie and Freddie going 1 for 21. So I said something. He said, "What's the Braves' excuse?" And I said, "The Braves' excuse is they're soft. The Braves are just soft." Did you watch any of the Philadelphia-Atlanta series?
So I want you to know that baseball ended on Wednesday, and after that, it's just winter ball.
Okay, I feel you. But the Braves, the kid who's the shortstop
I
for the
followed
Braves, who got
Orlando Arcia.
he's the guy that said, "Attaboy, Harper,"
Yep.
and that blew up into a whole thing, right?
Yep.
And last night in Philly, the fans are giving it to him, and the kid turns around if you're watching the YouTube, you'll see what I'm doing. He holds his thumbs in his ears, and he's waving his fingers, right? And he's sticking out his tongue. And Ronald Acuna has to, turn him around and go, yo, man, don't pay attention to these people. They are soft, the Atlanta Braves. So I said that to him, that they're soft. And you know what he came back to me and said? He said,
what's that?
You know what then? The Dodgers are soft too. He said,
Why?
because as much as I love Mookie and as much as I love Freddie, neither guy has the Mamba mentality. That's the words he used. And you know what I thought to myself? I said, you know what? Everybody blames Dave Roberts. He didn't get him fired up. He didn't get him to run through a brick wall. But where is 2 MVP candidates to have a get on my back sort of mentality? Where was that?
Okay, so I think there's a lot more to it than you're actually getting into. You're putting Dave Roberts in a situation of just this series, that we're asking for Dave Roberts' head because of just this series. And we got to go to a break, but I want to explain to you why not. Next.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, the aftermath of the Dodgers. That's right. 24 to 36 to 40-ish hours after the fact. The Dodger aftermath continues. Plus, coming up, got to get into USC Notre Dame. Definitely want to get into the Rams and the Cardinals and so much more. Bergie's in for Sedano. It's Sedano and Kap on 710 ESPN.
Return of $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction, both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 million mega sports station, 710 ESPN. Elevate your game at Hollywood Park Casino. Join Travis Rogers and Kirk Morrison this Sunday for their live Rams postgame show from the Rays Lounge at Hollywood Park Casino. Win prizes and interact with Travis and Kirk. Hollywood Park Casino is Los Angeles' premier card room casino and entertainment destination. Reminder, party, oh party, Sunday after the game. Come see Travis and Kirk and enjoy a postgame meal and drink at the Rays Lounge right after Rams football is done. Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play. Hanging around, sitting in for Sedano as we lead you up to coverage. The Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off coming up at 5:30 p.m. Today is National M&M Day. Hey, man, you like peanuts or just regular? And on this day in 1979, the #1 hit, MJ, off the Off the Wall album. Don't stop till you get enough. Sedano and Kap continues your Friday afternoon right now.
Come on. Let me tell you something right now.
I love the song.
When it's Saturday night and you get out of the shower, you turn this song in the bathroom, and you just rock this song. And it doesn't matter what you look like or what you're wearing or not wearing. It doesn't matter how you feel about the way you look. Just turn this song on, and it's jam time.
It feels great for this song. Rock With You was always one of my favorites. I think probably my favorite, but this one always gets you going.
You know what they call this, Greg?
What?
It's a banger.
Oh, it is a banger. Absolutely a banger.
That's right. Corporate Greg is in the house today for
Cappy.
Sedano. Shortened show leading up to Lakers pregame basketball. So, Bergie,
yes.
we were just chatting about the aftermath of the Dodgers, and you were saying that you and Dodger fans, those who bleed the blue.
Yes, sir.
It's not about calling for Dave Roberts' head today. You were about to say it's deeper than that.
It is deeper than that. So it's absolutely not on Dave Roberts for this series alone. I don't want Dave Roberts fired for this specific series by itself. I thought he actually did an amazing job in Game 2. He managed the hell out of that game in Game 2. They'd lost, but that wasn't their fault. That was the actual hitter's fault. That was Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman's fault for not coming through when you need it.
You mean like when you have bases loaded and you strike out looking?
Yeah, those types of things. That's
like late
what
in the
those
game,
are the
like
types.
Freddie?
Right, those are the types of things that is on you at that point. But Dave Roberts made a bunch of mistakes that he in Game 3 in a do or die game that shows you what type of manager he is when he uses his gut. His gut said, "I'm going to leave Lance Lynn to give up 4 home runs in one inning." His gut says, "Oh, I'm going to listen to the numbers and go with a lefty-righty matchup in Austin Barnes with the bases loaded when I just got 2 runs across with Chris Taylor and Kike Hernandez in righty-righty matchups." He decided not to stick with David Peralta or go to James Outman. He went with a righty batter because he was a righty-lefty matchup. That was a mistake. It doesn't matter about the matchup at the time. You put in your best hitters to get you a hit, and he didn't do that. But it's overarching. It's a bigger thing. Did you know that there's six times in the history of baseball, Scott, that a team has lost in the postseason to a team that was 15 games or worse than them? There's 3 times in the last 3 years it was the Dodgers. So 6 times total. The last 3 years by the Dodgers.
Okay.
That goes on to Dave Roberts. That goes on to his resume. He has made mistake after mistake in the postseason when he uses his actual gut. When it comes to the regular season, he's amazing because you don't have to do that much in the regular season. Cappy, you specifically, just you. If I told you you're now the manager of the Dodgers, this exact team, exact pitching staff, all of that stuff, the only thing you have to do is fill out the lineup card, give it to the umpire at the beginning of the game, and then do absolutely nothing. You win 85 to 90 games.
Okay,
it doesn't matter in the regular season.
Okay, I get it. But listen, here's what I'm saying. From top to bottom, I call this an organizational failure. I don't just call this a managerial failure. Your criticisms, you may have legit points about using Austin Barnes in that situation.
Terrible.
You may have a completely legitimate point. And by the way, that seems to be a very popular opinion. As for keeping Lance Lynn out there, he's given up solo shots, and you just don't think you've got that much left. That's another decision that certainly can be nitpicked. No question about it.
No, it's not a nitpick. Hold on. I just want to stop you. It's not a nitpick. There is no way there's any person in this world that says after that second home run, you leave him in the game.
Yeah. But we don't really have like metrics on that. That's just kind of like a big opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
what
right,
do you mean,
no? It is just okay. Sure, it could be opinion, but you always get angry with analytics. But you know who he is. You know who Lance Lynn is.
I agree with you.
44 home runs in the regular season, and you let him continually give up home runs.
And you saw him give up 16 of them after they traded for him.
Exactly.
So look, I get it. These are all legitimate managerial gripes. All I'm saying is that this past offseason, when everybody was talking about how the Padres won the offseason, guess what? The Dodgers were still favored to win the division. The Dodgers were still favored.
Do you have that? Were they? I think
absolutely.
I think the Padres were favored.
No.
I'm pretty sure the Padres were favored.
You go do the research. I already did it. Listen.
Okay.
The Padres were favored by MLB.com to win the World Series. They got drunken by all the offseason moves. So all I'm saying is that if you go back to the very beginning of the year and you look at the Vegas odds for World Series, you will see that the Dodgers are ahead of the Padres, and the Dodgers were favored to win the division. And they still won 100 games. All I'm getting at is this, is that they didn't go spend a ton of money in the offseason last year, They decided to pick up guys here, pick up Martinez, pick up Peralta. They'll pick up guy here, Noah Syndergaard. They were trying to just kind of piece it all together because they thought we're still really good. They were really good. They won over 100 games. So they didn't win the offseason. The Padres did. And the Padres didn't do anything during the regular season, and the Dodgers did. And so the Dodgers are a much, much better organization. And I looked at their clubhouse all year long, and I heard, well, this is such a close-knit group, and we're a bunch of gritty fighters out there, and we had a $276 million payroll, and they made it seem like they had like the same payroll as the Diamondbacks did. They didn't. They still spent a ton of money. All I'm getting at is, from top to bottom, the general manager did not provide as much talent this past offseason and did not restock that team and give it what it needed at the All-Star break. That's all I'm saying.
Well, they didn't, and they made they made a decision. They said they were not going to do anything. They're going to go after the little pieces like Yarbrough, like you were mentioning, and Lance Lynn, and those types of guys, and Ahmed Rosario, who they just decided not to put onto the roster for whatever reason. For Colton Wong, which is also a bad decision, that is on the top. That's Andrew Friedman's fault. But they went through all those because they wanted to get Shohei Ohtani. They wanted to keep they wanted to stay under the luxury tax, which I don't think they didn't do. Which they did not do. Right. Exactly. So if you're going to go over the luxury tax, just go over it and make it happen.
That's exactly right. So, and by the way, if in your mind you thought, hey, I think we're good enough the way we are, and if we don't win the World Series, hey, at least we didn't go spend a whole bunch of money, but we've got all that money left over for Ohtani. Do you think anybody in that front office was going, we don't have to win the World Series this year. We just don't need to spend a lot this year because we need to save that money for Ohtani, and then we'll go win a bunch of World Series. If anybody ever said that, Bergie, guess what? Dave Roberts and Andrew Friedman ain't going anywhere.
No, well, most likely not. But see, this is why I don't think. I know you're trying to get to. It feels like you're trying to get to. It's Andrew Friedman's fault, and
I'm not saying it's Andrew Friedman's fault. I'm saying that if you think that Dave Roberts should be fired, I think both guys should be fired.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you why not. So. Yes to Dave Roberts because you need a different voice in the room. You need somebody else that can and sometimes you just need a change. And that seems like right now is that time. Andrew Friedman, you can't. And mostly because he's the one that built all of this. He built the farm system. He built he built a 100-win team every single year while keeping the farm system at a top 5 level. That doesn't happen in baseball very often. There's not a lot of guys that can still do that.
Totally fair.
So that you can now bring other people like James Outman and Ryan Pepio and Bobby Miller, and you can have guys that are just ready to come up. That happens with the guy that built everything.
Okay, totally fair. But let me just say this. Your point about sometimes a team needs a new voice, I'll buy that. You got me. I'll buy that. I'll give you an example. When Tony Dungy was the coach of the Buccaneers, a nice guy, wasn't he?
I don't like this whole nice guy thing, but yes, you're right.
He's a nice guy, isn't he?
Yep.
That's what people think of Tony Dungy. Nice guy. He's a really nice guy. Well, you know what they needed? They
Clay
needed
Helton
kind of
was a nice guy.
Right. So what did the Bucs need back then? They needed somebody else to come in and kick a little ass. They hired John Gruden.
Yep.
And John Gruden took Tony Dungy's team and he won a Super Bowl. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, and
maybe
think another one here, Lakers. I mean, it's not apples to apples. There's a lot of different things in there, but Del Harris in the 90s had Shaq and Kobe, and they would lose to Utah. Bring in Phil Jackson, win 3 titles.
I'm not saying that there's not validity to what you're saying. I'm just telling you that these two guys are connected. Because here's the thing. If 3 years in a row, these guys have gotten knocked out of the postseason in the first round, and in their record over the last 3 years in the postseason, check me on this, 3-13, right?
Yeah.
If that's their record in the postseason over the last 3 years, after year one, you go, what didn't go right here? And then after year two, when you're beaten by the Padres, a team you look down on.
Yep.
Gosh, this is 2 years in a row. Something's wrong here. What are we doing wrong here? And then you get to year 3, the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's even worse than the Padres. I mean, at least the Padres went out and spent money.
I get it.
So now it's 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row, the organization did not get it done.
You just made the argument to not bring back Dave.
No, I made the argument to get rid of both of them.
Okay, see, but like I said before, you can't get rid of the guy that built the whole thing.
Well, he hasn't succeeded, has he?
Well, I mean, they have the one, but
come on.
They both
Come
do.
on,
No,
the
no,
one.
I know. But you have the pieces in place. And when they wanted to go after Machado, they went out and got Machado. When they wanted Scherzer and Turner, they got those guys. It was something that you had to do to help try and make your team better. It may not have worked, and they may have left. I think that's what we have to figure out is why these guys are leaving.
Well,
why does Trey Turner not want to be here? Why does Corey Seager not want to be here?
Both great questions.
Why do they not want to be here and win and take the money? If all things are equal, we probably offered Corey Seager that amount of money, the same amount of money, or I would assume so. Trey Turner, they said that they offered him the same amount of money that was being in Philly. They both didn't want to be here, and I think that's what we have to figure out what's going on here. Why they want to go?
What about Justin Verlander? Why didn't he want to come here?
Yeah, Justin Verlander did not want to come. I mean, Anthony
But just one
Rendon
other
is
thing.
different. Anthony Rendon is different because he fell apart, but he didn't want to be here either.
Okay.
Eduardo Rodriguez did not want to come here at the trade deadline. What is happening that these guys are not wanting to be here is the question.
Seager and Turner in particular, Trey Turner. What did they do to replace those guys?
Seager and Turner. It was Turner that
okay, right. So Turner replaced Seager,
and then Lux was supposed to be the guy.
Gavin Lux was not.
I agree with you. I don't think I think he was just a guy with. If you want to get back into that conversation,
I'm getting at is this, Bergie. All I'm saying is this: for everybody that wants Dave Roberts fired, you're putting it on one guy. It's almost because you just want a scapegoat. That's all.
Well, it's not so much a scapegoat, but a different voice in the room, and you're not getting rid of the guy at the top that built everything. That's my whole point.
The guy at the top who built everything.
He is not. He is not the manager. Even if people think, but you build everything to keep that team being for 162 games as good as they are, and hold a top 5 farm system in baseball is just not something that you just find on the side of the street. You can find a manager that will still get you 85, 90, 95, 100 wins. That can all happen. But you don't find the guy that's going to be able to build your franchise.
Okay. Well, listen, the aftermath continues. Listen to the anger. Listen to the anger.
Ooh, I think that was just, having conversation.
Well, no, but it's just the bleeding of the blue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
The passion and the
feelings. That's why I'm wearing the Vin Scully shirt and have him tattooed on my arm. How about that?
I feel you. I think it's great. All right, listen, stick around, everybody. Hold on. Before we even go anywhere, I want to tell everybody about Prize Picks. Bergie, have you started to play Prize Picks yet?
I have not, but I hear it's amazing.
Let me tell you something. Without exaggeration, it's so easy. Download the Prize Picks app or just use their website, prizepicks.com. I'll explain why in a second. The game is so fun. So last night I was looking at the two quarterbacks. I'm like, okay, so here's Patrick Mahomes and here's Russell Wilson. And the question really is on Prize Picks, is Patrick Mahomes going to pass for more than 265 yards or is he going to pass for less? It's really just that easy. Is Jerry Jeudy going to have more than 50 yards receiving or is he going to have less than 50 yards receiving? If you think you know the game, if you think you know the players, and if you think you know the stats, you could win like 25 times your money, which I know sounds exaggerated, but it's true. And Prize Picks has all these weekly promotions that are really cool. Plus, they've got this thing called the injury insurance policy. So if players get hurt that you have, you're not out of the game. So, you can watch the updates happen in real time. You can continue to make picks in the second half and all the way through the fourth quarter. You will take your day game experience to the next level with Prize Picks. Here's what you do. Go to prizepicks.com/Cappy, Kappy. prizepicks.com/Cappy. Use my promo code Cappy. Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. So go to prizepicks.com/Cappy with the code Cappy for a 100% deposit match. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Coming up Sunday.
The return of Million Dollar Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction, both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million Mega Sports Station, 710 ESPN. Elevate your game at Hollywood Park Casino. Join Travis Rogers and Kirk Morrison this Sunday for their live Rams postgame show from the Rays Lounge at Hollywood Park Casino. Win prizes and interact with Travis and Kirk. Hollywood Park Casino is Los Angeles' premier card room casino and entertainment destination. Reminder, party, oh party, Sunday after the game. Come see Travis and Kirk and enjoy a postgame meal and drink at the Rays Lounge right after Rams football is done. Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play. And it is Sedano and Kap, your Friday afternoon. Today is National Train Your Brain Day, Cappy. Why don't you try that this weekend? And wasn't it just David Lee Roth's birthday the other day? Well, happy 76th birthday to the other guy who led Van Halen, Sammy Hagar. Sedano and Kap continues your Friday afternoon right now.
I know it's very controversial to say this to people, and people don't like to hear it. But I'm more of a Sammy Hagar guy. And I love David Lee Roth, and I love Van Halen in the early days. But I got soured on David Lee later when he came back to the band, and he forgot the words to Panama at a concert that I was at.
Don't they just say Panama the whole time?
Yep. That's what I was so upset about. He literally stopped the band, and he was like, man, I forgot the words. And I'm like 6 rows back, and I'm going, Dave, come on. And he actually literally was like, he started yelling at people, hey, you guys should be lucky I know any of these words. It's 25 years later. I'm like, bro, the words are Panama.
See, want to be a little upset with me right now? I don't know the difference in the songs of the different singers.
Oh my God, they're not.
I just don't know which ones sing which song.
Well,
I know Van Halen. I know these songs. I know this song, and I know Panama, and I know a bunch of the other ones.
But wait, if you mean to tell me that if I took David Lee Roth Van Halen songs, and I took Sammy Hagar Van Halen songs, and I played one, and I said, who's singing, you would not know?
I would not know which one is which.
Wow. Okay.
Not all. I mean, maybe it's look. I was an '80s baby. I was born in '83. So when were these songs coming out?
Okay. You know about Degrassi?
I know what Degrassi is, but I never watched it. And I knew that Drake was on Degrassi.
Cap had no clue that what Degrassi was yesterday.
It was on Nick, right? It was on Nickelodeon?
Yeah, it was for a
What
little
are you
bit.
talking about? What's Degrassi?
It was very funny because he's like, what is that, a pasta?
Yeah, like what is that? That sounds like a nice dish.
Is it something in Canada? It is something in Canada.
Yeah, it was funny.
Degrassi, yeah. Hey, can I have your back a little bit, Cappy?
Whoa, hold on. Time out.
No,
Stop.
I'm going to have
Hold
your
on.
back.
Nobody ever has my back.
I know. I think I want to have your back.
In what capacity do you have my back before you have it?
Well, no, here. I'm going to have it. Brian Cohen's in today from Mason, Ireland. Brian Cohen's here. Can you play what I asked for?
Sedano and Kap for your afternoon drive.
The fun way to drive home on 710.
Why are you looking at what I'm liking on Instagram?
Yeah, that's creepy as hell, bro.
So weird.
That is weird.
Laura.
I thought they stopped letting you do that.
Is it sus?
It's sus sauce on the side.
It's a little weird.
I guess it's a little. A little
lot.
bit.
A lot of weird.
Come on, for reals?
The LA Afternoon Takeover.
Oh, I love when Sedano yells this. You hear Sedano, he goes, Laura! He's just looking for somebody to back him up.
Someone to back him up.
Just please back me up.
You found somebody that's going to back you up now, because when I scroll through Instagram and I'm going down and just looking at everything, this one right here says liked by Mr. Jason Roberts. This one says liked by somebody else. It'll say liked by CMM.
Liked by?
Liked by CMM Spectra. Spectrum, liked by Miss Carla 13, liked by somebody that I follow. It says it right there for me. Right. So it's not that I'm looking for that.
Yeah.
I just see it because I'm scrolling through Instagram.
Right.
So I have your back because that's not sus in the slightest.
It's not hella sus.
It's not hella
sussy sus with sus sauce on the side.
There's no susness at all.
Right. I know, but it's like so. Well, here's what happens.
Tracy Murray 3.
Look, you may actually see something on Instagram that you don't follow because somebody that you follow actually liked it.
Correct.
And then you're like, oh, I'm seeing that because CMM Spectrum likes that. It's a public forum.
Exactly. I would never follow Insta 80s, 90s, but my friend Brandon Piali does, so I'm going to look at it too. It happens that way.
I know.
I am fully on your side with this.
Thank you. I appreciate that because once George heard that, and he was like, oh, man, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't. And then he's like, Laura? And, of course, Laura's like, whatever you say, George. Yes, sus. Yes, it's sus.
So now have I swayed you, Lindsay?
I think in the context that Cap was saying it, I think it is a little weird because he goes, I noticed you guys both liked some of these things on Instagram. Or it was like, he and you both liked this thing of mine on Instagram.
No, here's what happened. I'll tell you what happened. I was going to a dinner on Wednesday night. That was Drew Brees was doing a talk on Wednesday night. And the guy who organized it is a guy named Dave Meltzer. And I've known David for years. And I have happened to notice, because he's a viral Instagram business coach. And I noticed, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that Spectrum, CNN, whatever.
CMM Spectrum.
Right. I didn't realize that Morales knows Dave and follows Dave and likes his stuff. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so, yes, I was saying to the guys, I was like, yeah, I'm going to this event tomorrow night.
Time out.
Yeah.
If you would have explained it exactly the way you just did, it doesn't sound as creepy. No, it's not. You said, so I'm going to this dinner with this guy. You guys both like a lot of the same things on Instagram.
No,
that sounds kind of weird. Like you're like straight up like looking at his likes on Instagram.
Okay, I listen to the show every single.
Very specific about who it was.
Okay.
Very specific.
I listen to the show every single day. Now, was Cap trying to explain it and somebody jumped in on him and he had to stop explaining it to explain another thing?
I mean, didn't it just happen in the promo? Did that part happen?
Yeah, I mean, listen to it. Like he's
play back,
but
just
it
the
also
beginning.
doesn't say what he did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sedano and Cap for your afternoon drive.
The fun way to drive home on 710.
Why are you looking at what I'm liking on Instagram?
Yeah, that's creepy.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. We did not get the context.
Right. So what happened was, I was saying.
No, I'm going to go back and pull it.
You should go back and pull it because I was saying, hey, I'm going to this event, Drew Brees and Dave Meltzer. And I said, you guys know Dave because I see that you guys like a lot of his stuff on Instagram. And once I said that
was it.
Morales thought like I violated some code of Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Even though you saying it the way that you just said it is different than how you first explained it.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's go to the audio tape.
Check the tape.
But,
right.
Cappy, I got your back on that. There's absolutely nothing wrong. It's not sus in the slightest. I do the same thing. I see it. I see CMM Spectrum all the time. I don't like it because he likes it, but I see it. So I'm with you. I'm with you, buddy.
When you just said at the beginning of the segment that you were going to have my back on something, I did not know that that's what you're going to have my back on.
Uh-huh.
Do you want me to know? You want me to tell you what I thought you were going to have my back on?
What's that?
So I was getting a bunch of crap the other day from everybody because, I got kicked out of the Canelo Alvarez circle.
Well, that's just obvious.
That
was going to happen.
I got kicked out of the Jeannie Buss circle, which I told that story.
Of course.
Okay. And then I got kicked out of another circle most recently, and everybody was giving me a hard time.
Who'd you send Tequila Mandala to? Did you get kicked out of that circle?
I did not. I sent that to Jim Nance.
Oh, yeah. You didn't get kicked out of the Jim Nance circle.
I probably would have gotten kicked out of the Jim Nance circle had I taken the video that Jim sent, and if I would have shared it on Instagram or if I would have put it out there in the world, Jim probably would have been like, yo, man, that was just me to you, bro.
I saw that video. How did I see that video? You didn't send it to me.
I must have shown it to you. I must have said, hey, check this out. This is pretty cool.
You know what? That's probably what happened, but I would not have known otherwise. Go.
So
I never saw it either, Cap, by the way.
Okay. Well, where was I, though? I was getting kicked out of circles for some reason. There was a third circle I was just kicked out of, and I'm trying to remember what happened here. But anyway, and now I don't. So
now I don't.
All right, Lindsay's going to go back and find it. I'm telling you, I'm right on this one, man.
I think you're absolutely right on this one. So do you wanted to talk about USC, though?
Well, I do want to get into USC. I want to get into USC Notre Dame. Let me say this about USC Notre Dame. Look, we all think Notre Dame, because of the way they got spanked last week by Louisville, that they're probably not very good, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm guessing most people did not see Notre Dame, Louisville last week. I happened to be watching a little bit of that game. To see Louisville, to see them spank Notre Dame the way they did makes me think Notre Dame's not very good. But when you're USC and you're good, but you're not great, not yet.
Got grinched.
You have one side of the ball that's premier, maybe the best offense in all of college football, certainly the best player in all of college football. But your defense, you talk about sussy sus with sus sauce on the side. That's that USC defense. That's number one.
So you don't think that defense is going to allow Sam Howell, is that his name, to just throw all over them?
No, I do think that.
That is exactly what. No matter that you lost to Louisville, they let Arizona have that lead and should have won the game. No
question.
This is something that this Alex Grinch is just not getting it done.
Well, again, we can all blame coaches, okay? But you look at that USC defense, and it's kind of put together each year through the transfer portal, and it just doesn't seem like something that's being built from high school players that spend 3 or 4 years. And, there is a problem with the defensive side of the ball. And by the way, you can go back into Lincoln Riley's history and you can go look at his years at Oklahoma. Those defenses weren't great either. All I'm saying is this.
Well, then that's a whole problem with the transfer portal. You're getting a whole bigger conversation.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to get into that conversation here. All I'm going to say is this. Don't discount Notre Dame just because they lost to Louisville last week. USC has to go to Notre Dame. That is a hostile environment. Many of these kids, I'm telling you, you could read articles about these USC players are like, hey, this is my dream. That's why I came to USC. I wanted to play Notre Dame at Notre Dame.
Right.
This is a big stage. And USC has been close a couple of times. Colorado, they almost let them back in the game. Arizona, they are lucky. I mean lucky to have escaped with that game. I'm worried about USC in this game. That's all I'm trying to get at.
You should be worried about USC in this game because that defense is absolutely terrible. No matter what Steve Mason says, saying that it's a sneaky good defense, it's not. When you give up 40 points a game, you do not have a good defense. So, I mean, I would be very, very worried. Do we know what the actual spread is? It's like -3 right now for Notre Dame because it's in Notre Dame.
That's pretty. I would have said -3 for USC.
-3 for even on the road with a team that you can't defend at all?
Because Notre Dame had just lost to Louisville, and I'm trying to think like a line maker here. By the way, this is an amazing weekend. Amazing weekend of college football because Oregon plays Washington.
That game's going to be great.
That's the earlier game in the day. Mm-hmm. And even UCLA has a big game against Oregon State.
Can I talk about UCLA? I mean, we have to go to break, but can I talk about their defense is fantastic.
All right, we'll get to a little bit more college football. I want to get into the Rams and the Raiders as well.
Notre Dame
Everybody stick
-2.5.
around. Okay, everybody stick around. What we all need to know next. This is Sedano and Kap on 710.
The return of $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million Mega Sports Station. 710 ESPN.
ESPN.
Sedano and Kap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What we need to know is being brought to us by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. One thing you need to know is that Corporate Greg,
yes, sir,
the manager of audio operations, is in the house today for Sedano. I'm going to watch Sedano's game tomorrow night. I don't know how exactly. I don't know where I'll be. But I like the whole, next level down, Montana versus Idaho. I like that level of college football. You rarely see it on TV. You rarely get an announcer like George, so I'll be in on that tomorrow.
Just support George a little bit. I'll be at Disneyland not doing that, so that'll
be there tomorrow night, huh? Because it's a late game tomorrow.
Oh, late game?
Yeah, it's probably like the 7 p.m. game. So it's like after the USC game.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the late.
Tell you what, man, if you are trying to watch college football tomorrow, you got that Oregon-Washington game at 12:30. Then you've got the USC Notre Dame game, I think, at 4:30. Somebody can check me on that.
Who do you got in that game?
That's a good day. Which game? The
Washington is -3 at home.
Let me do what you need to know.
Oh,
what do we need to know? No, that wasn't what we need to know. No,
you said it was what you need to know.
Come on, baseball.
That was
you said, well, Cap started going, well, what you need to know first before Lindsay does what you need to know.
I'd rather hear what
you in the house.
Is what I want to talk about, which is fine, but also what you need to know is this, because I think this is great. So, former NFL receiver and 5-time Pro Bowler Steve Smith Sr. was working sideline coverage ahead of Thursday night's game between the Chiefs and Broncos when Smith and Denver receiver Jerry Jeudy had an apparent exchange off camera. Well, then, when it came time for Steve Smith to go on the air, he explained what went down from his perspective and proceeded to kind of go off on Jeudy.
I called out to him because on my podcast, Cut to It, I just talked about guys that maybe have not showed up in a way or in a manner. And so the word that I've used to describe him in the past was a jag, just a guy. And so when I saw him, he's playing well. I wanted to say to him face to face, like, hey, I know I said some things in the past I probably shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. That's what I wanted to say to him. His response, Mike Roth and Bucky, was ninja.
Ninja?
Yes, I'm using the word ninja. I'm just using the word ninja. I don't mess with you. And it was a curse word. And so I was like, all right. And then he repeated it. So I'll say it again. I'm sorry that I said you were a jag, just a guy who's an average wide receiver they use a first-round pick on that isn't doing anything. I hope today that you actually show up in a way that you haven't showed up in the last couple of years since they drafted you. So if you ever got a problem with Agent 89, I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver, that they eventually will move on. And when teams call me and asking, should they trade for you, I will say no, don't trade for Jerry Jeudy, because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically, can he be a wide receiver? He could be a wide receiver. He's a tier 3. Go back into the studio. I'm done now. Thank you.
Wow, tier 3.
So great.
So remember,
great.
Bergie, remember last week or the week before, there was that whole argument about Rodney Harrison calling Zach Wilson trash?
Yeah, he didn't call him trash. He called his play trash.
No. That was the argument, was that if he said he was playing like trash, it would be okay. But it was that he called him trash, and that's why it wasn't okay.
But that being said, what we just heard, isn't that like even beyond?
Yep, that's absolutely beyond. He was going directly at him, and actually, I still don't have any problem with it.
No, I liked it. And the whole thing about ninjas, I mean, what are we talking here? Like mutant ninjas or what? What are we talking
Turtles.
Here?
Remember we went through this last time?
Yeah, I mean, the other day somebody talked to us about ninjas or something.
It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I don't know, that's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, So then, did you see what Jerry Jeudy was doing during a lot of this? Because they came back to him. Jerry Jeudy was like dancing behind when they were doing another report, and Jerry Judy's dancing, and then they asked Jerry Jeudy after the game, and he made it seem like he had no idea anything about it.
No, he knew everything about it. And by the way, Jerry Jeudy is just a guy. He did nothing. Last night he had 3 catches?
3 catches,
for
14 yards.
14 yards, yeah, exactly. Yep. That's just a guy. I mean, your quarterback's terrible, but still, you have nothing that he has done over the last, what has he been here, 3-4 years? He's done nothing at all. He is just a guy.
I love it, man. Steve Smith saying what he wants to say on TV.
Give me honesty.
And Jerry Jeudy standing behind him dancing. Did you guys see what I'm talking about? I'm telling you, they come back to him later in the show, and he is literally dancing and rapping behind them. like making his presence felt.
And then when they went to him at the end of the game, not knowing what they're talking about, he's just lying. Like, at least if Steve Smith is going to be honest while they're out there, then Jerry Jeudy should be honest too and be like, yeah, I was dancing, I was rapping behind him, I heard all of that. Great. And then you have a little fight. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, there you go. That's what you need to know. It's being brought to us by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Hey, speaking of the NFL, so a couple of games this weekend that I know I'm really interested in. Obviously, the Rams and the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Rams are going to win this game. I think the Rams are going to even their record to 3-3. There are a lot of injuries in the Arizona secondary, and even on offense, the Cardinals don't have, Kyler Murray. I mean, it's been the whole season so far.
But Josh Dobbs has done a fine job, especially with Marquise Brown.
He is fine. But they just lost their best running back this past week to an injury. They just had to put him on IR, James Conner.
What's the name of the guy that they brought that is the backup? He actually played decently well. They're saying, like, pick him up in fantasy type of thing.
Well, I'm just going to say this. When you have your top running back out, when you have a backup quarterback who is your starter, when you have injuries in your secondary, and you don't have a team that has a great pass rush, I would think this week that the Rams should be able to win this game. However, I don't know that I like the Rams to cover 7 points.
See, if you're not covering 7 points, then there's still that opportunity to lose. And I know we're the Rams station. I believe them. I think they're going to win also. But Arizona has been fighting with every single team besides San Francisco last weekend. Every single team, and beat one of the best defenses in the league in Dallas, and we're all over them. So I think this is going to be a tougher game than what we are kind of thinking. At the beginning of the year, you thought Arizona, they're trying to lose. They're trying to tank for Caleb Williams. They're playing much better than what we thought. I think they're actually playing better than Kyler Murray they had with Kyler Murray, because he was pretty bad last year.
I would say that Arizona has the same sort of fight with a team that doesn't have a great roster, just to say the same way the Rams have.
It's pretty even then.
I think so. The Rams lost to San Francisco. They're the class of the league. They lost to Philadelphia, who's still unbeaten and was in the Super Bowl last year. And they lost to Cincinnati, which is really considered a contender in the AFC.
Yeah, but they weren't very good when they played Cincinnati. Cincinnati was not playing well. Joe Burrow was not ready.
They played 3 teams that are all playoff caliber teams, and those 3 games are the games that they lost. And you're right, by the way. Joe Burrow was hardly at his best. So, look, I think this is a much closer game. It's a division game between 2 teams that are trying to grind it out right now. I think it's a much closer game. I think the Rams win, but not by 7 points. I'm taking Arizona to cover.
It's a good bet. What is it? What do you feel about Cooper Kupp being on kind of like a pitch count against Arizona, though? Does that affect how you feel about it? And you have no more Van Jefferson. He's obviously in Atlanta now. So now you have Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, but Kupp's kind of injured. And if something is going on with him, Ben Skoranek is the guy that comes in after him.
So Ben Skoranek is a nice special teams guy.
That's it.
Who can occasionally make a play for you on offense, but really, really occasionally. If Cooper Kupp is not 100%, then I think you got problems. Because when you talk about a pitch count, remember last week he was targeted 10 times and caught 9 balls.
And how much of that was in the first half, too? He didn't get it did not get very much in the second half, and they did not score at all in the second half.
That's right. And the Rams have not been good scoring late in the game.
At all.
And Arizona has just gotten trounced by everybody late in games. I mean, there's a stat out there that Arizona has given up. They've down 54-7. They've been outscored in the fourth quarter so far this year.
Oh, wow.
I'm bringing a lot of statistics to you today.
Look at you. You are very statistic heavy.
Very statistic oriented.
Like I know San Francisco beat them up pretty good. I don't know about the rest of them, but they were close on every. Yes, that's because Arizona who lost to the Giants, and they had that 30-point second half.
Oh yeah, when the Giants came back. Yeah.
So a lot of that is that.
Right. Well,
Daniel Jones hasn't done that more than one time in his career.
But the only reason people give Arizona any credit is because they beat Dallas, who everybody thought was good. Who, after what I saw San Francisco do to them, I don't think they're very good.
Yeah, but against the Giants, they had that game won until the end. They had it. They were ahead of Washington and should have won that one. They lost that, so they are still a bad team, but still. I think they can keep it close, and it's going to come down to maybe just the fourth quarter, and somebody has to score. Somebody will have to score in the second half.
I'll tell you another game I'm really interested in this weekend is the Raiders and the Patriots, and you know what?
It's a beatdown.
You may hear that and go, Raiders and Patriots. The Patriots legitimately might be the worst team in the NFL.
Carolina?
Carolina and the Patriots are kind of right there. But for the Raiders, I love games like this. This is why I liked Denver against the Jets last week, because Sean Payton had all these things to say, and then here comes Nathaniel Hackett with a backup quarterback into your house and beats you. I love storylines like that. This game between the Raiders and the Patriots, will McDaniels beat his boss in Belichick? And are the Patriots just so pathetic and so bad that Belichick can't beat his former pupil? I think the Raiders are going to win this game. I'm taking the Raiders not just to win. I think the Raiders cover the 3 points.
So the problem is if that happens, it's going to be like 18-14 or something like that.
I was thinking like 5-2.
It very well could be 5-2 because neither team for some reason can score. The Raiders haven't scored more than 18 points at all this season, more than once. Not at all. It hasn't happened.
And yet they've got 2 wins.
Yeah, they have 2 wins because they beat 17-16 against Denver, who had the worst defense in the world at that point. Is in week 1, and then the next week Miami puts up 70, and then
Denver,
and then against Green Bay just on Sunday. What was that? 17-13,
something like that.
Just a disaster of an offense. And you have Devontae Adams, who should be amazing. You hear what he said to it this week, too? He's like, you just have to find a way to get me the ball despite being double-teamed.
Well, I'll tell you what, the other quarterback did. Jimmy G didn't, but that other guy, what's his name? Aiden something or other?
Aiden Hutchinson.
No. Aiden Hutchinson's the defensive end for the Lions.
O'Connell, isn't it?
McConnell, yes.
Yeah. Something like that. Don't worry about it, Bergie. This week I called C.J. Stroud Marcus Stroud, and everybody's like, who the hell's Marcus Stroud? I'm like, I don't know. Who is he?
Turns
out
he's a real
O'Connell.
person.
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell, not McConnell.
You said O'Connell.
Yeah. Did you say O'Connell or McConnell?
I sure said O'Connell.
Oh,
and Marcus Stroud is a defensive lineman for the Texans, in case anybody's scoring at home.
We get things wrong every once in a while,
It happens. All right, stick around, everybody, because Lindsay Baseball has got an abbreviated edition of Radio Tinder. That is coming up next. Lindsay Baseball, can I talk about Yamava for a quick second, though?
Please do.
All right, I would love to. Yesterday, we're at Yamava. How great of a time do we all have? I'm telling you, we get off the air, and Lindsay's still giving out money. She's giving out $250 every quarter, and we're hanging out there at the 909 Sports Bar. And while we're on the radio from 4 to 7, we get off the air, and now we all hang out. It was Crypto Ray, and it was Casper Villa, and it was Tommy, and it was Lil Cappy, and it was DeMarco, and Morales, and baseball. I mean, we were all there hanging out. So if you ever want to come hang out, just know that when we get off the air, we stick around, we eat something, we have a beer, we hang, we watch the game. It all happens on Thursdays at the 909 Sports Bar, the best place to enjoy Thursday night football and win cash. Lindsay gives out $1,000 every Thursday, $250 every quarter. It's the place to be. The greatest sports bar on the planet, the 909 at Yamava Resort and Casino.
Sunday on 710 ESPN. It's
the return of $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction, both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million Mega Sports Station. 710 ESPN. Elevate your game at Hollywood Park Casino. Join Travis Rogers and Kirk Morrison this Sunday for their live Rams postgame show from the Rays Lounge at Hollywood Park Casino. Win prizes and interact with Travis and Kirk. Hollywood Park Casino is Los Angeles' premier card room casino and entertainment destination. Reminder, party, oh party, Sunday after the game. Come see Travis and Kirk and enjoy a postgame meal and drink at the Rays Lounge right after Rams football is done. Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play. afternoon, Radio Tinder time, it moves up because we got Lakers coverage at 5:30. And we like to play a TV theme. How about this one? On this day in 1991, J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, joined the cast of In Living Color as a fly girl. This was the season that Jamie Foxx, Steve Park, and Shawn Wayans were also added to the cast that already had a guy named Jim Carrey on it. You can follow her at Lindsay Baseball on Twitter or Instagram. Don't forget about our sponsor, Tequila Mandala. Always swipe right on Tequila Mandala. Take it away, pretty Lindsay.
Thanks, Christopher. Are you a big fan of In Living Color, Cappy?
I'm not a hater of it. I was just always more a Saturday Night Live guy. I think people kind of took a side on that one.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But there were a lot of great comedians and actors that were on that show. Hey, by the way, I just want to send a shout out to everybody who happens to be celebrating today International Skeptics Day. I'm a skeptic.
Oh, that's you.
I'm
totally
a natural-born skeptic. There's a lot of things I don't really believe. I'm like, I'm not positive. So it is International Skeptics Day. Congratulations. And for those of you that are celebrating, Mazel Tov. And also National Herpes Awareness Day. So for those of you that are celebrating that one, good luck.
Good thing you pointed that out.
Well, it's also National Transfer Money to Your Son Day, and my son hasn't hit me up yet today.
He probably doesn't know.
That's exactly right.
I feel like you probably should text him and be like, hey, just so you know.
Nah, that means I'm going to have to transfer money.
I'm going to have to post something about it, and I'm going to tag Justin Kaplan in it so he knows, hey, Dad, I'm just trying to celebrate.
Right. All right, baseball, it is time for Radio Tinder, presented by Tequila Mandala.
All right, Cappy, so you're one of your friends. I don't know if you want to call her a friend or whatever, but Jada Pinkett Smith.
Aye.
No, you're not really a big fan of her.
It's not that I'm not a big fan. It's just that, you know what? People are like so annoyed with all the Taylor Swift coverage. Aren't people super annoyed with the Jada Pinkett Smith coverage?
I think so. I also feel like she's kind of a jerk, and I'll explain why here. So she's been in the news a lot lately because she's been doing interviews promoting her upcoming memoir. So I might just have to put in a request to see if she'll come on our show because I know you've got some questions for her.
I'd like to keep her name out my mouth.
Well, if you talk to her, that's not going to be possible. So she admitted that she felt a very strong connection to the late rapper Tupac, referring to him as her soulmate in a new interview. Jada admitted that even though she felt that the rapper was a soulmate of sorts, she also explained that she didn't think that it needed to be a romanticized idea. This comes, of course, a few days after she revealed that she had secretly been separated from Will Smith for 7 years. So not really a great week publicity-wise for her, in my opinion. Do you have an issue with Jada Pinkett Smith saying this publicly about Tupac being her soulmate? Swipe left or swipe right?
I'm going to swipe right. I do have kind of an issue with it because there's more to the story. I think she even said that Tupac asked her to marry him.
For when he was in prison.
Yeah. So I'm like, how do we verify that?
I don't think you can.
Right. So maybe she just made that up.
R.I.P.
You know? Because today's International Skeptics Day, I'm just skeptical of the whole thing.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
You see what I'm saying? She annoys me so much, and Will Smith annoys me so much. If they've been separated for this long, what are they doing? Is this like a big public thing? They show up at these award shows, and then he goes crazy, keep my wife's name out your damn mouth, and then smacks Chris Rock in the face for the woman that you're separated from? The woman who's always out there like talking and humiliating you? Like, come on, Will. What's up, Will?
I feel like there's probably, maybe not a lot, but there are some celebrities that do this where they kind of put on the whole like happy family marriage thing just for publicity's sake. Don't you think?
I suppose that's what they're doing.
I mean, didn't they, this is a thing in Hollywood, like Brock Hudson, he like married his assistant because it was for publicity, looks, whatever, for, to cover up his actual lifestyle. I feel like there's people that do this.
I don't know. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are like the Hollywood version of Bill and Hillary Clinton.
I don't know about that.
Well, they're like just married, just to kind of stay married, like high-five each other on occasion.
I don't know if they even high-five each other, because I feel like, I don't know, it seems like Will seemed to care a lot more about her than she does about him.
Yeah, it seems
I could
that
be
way.
wrong, but, the fact that he got so teary-eyed and upset about the whole, the comment with the slap, and here she is going out there saying months later, or a year later, like, oh, yeah,
I have less respect
soulmates.
for Will Smith now. I literally have less respect for him now.
Why?
Because you went and smacked Chris Rock, damaged your reputation like that over this? Come on, Will, do better.
Brian, what do you think? Swipe left or swipe right? Do you have a problem with it?
Yeah, I'm with Cap on this one. Swipe him right. I don't know. I'm tired of hearing about it all. And to Cap's point, now that all this comes out after the slap kind of a deal, it's like, doesn't look too good.
Do better, Will Smith.
Right, do better. Come on.
Do better. All right. So next one here. A woman went viral after posting on TikTok of an alleged first date with a guy. So the girl in the video refuses to get out of the car because her date took her to the Cheesecake Factory. Mm-hmm. The guy goes over to the passenger side of the car. He goes to help her out. And she's like, I'm not getting out of this car. Nope. Waving her finger no. Like, I am not doing this. This is Cheesecake Factory.
Hell no.
And he's like, what's wrong with that? And she's like, this is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone who looks like this to a chain restaurant?
Oh, really? She hot?
She's pretty good looking.
All right.
Yeah, she's a pretty girl. Would you ever take a first date to the Cheesecake Factory? Swipe left or swipe right, Cappy?
I would swipe right. I'm not saying that I go to the Cheesecake Factory very often. I don't have one nearby, and I don't seek them out, but I don't have any problem with them. You know, I've been to the Cheesecake Factory. It's okay.
So, but you think that's not first date material?
Well, hold on a second. I have a question. Let's say that we never get to a second date. What do I have to do? I have to go to I got to go to Craig's.
Yeah, but the first date is all about first impressions and wanting to impress someone.
But I have a question. So what do you think the price point is per person at Cheesecake Factory?
It's actually higher than you'd think.
Right. So you and a date go to the Cheesecake Factory, and you're both going to have a drink. Let's just say you're both going to have 2 drinks, and let's say you're both going to have a salad, and you're both going to have an entree. What's the bill cost?
It's easily $100-ish, $120.
Hey guys, I heard about this story too. I had to jump in.
Come on, Funchy.
Plus drinks, $200.
Yeah, Funchy,
with drinks, you're probably right.
I'm going to say price point's probably $100 a person. That's not like some cheap restaurant.
Yeah, I saw this video this morning. I've been fascinated with this story all day long.
Funchy, is she hot?
She's cute. She's cute.
I think she's hot.
She thinks she's too hot.
She's not.
She's not.
Factory. She's Cheesecake Factory material.
All right, let me ask you a question.
Wait, she is or she isn't?
She is. She is.
Oh,
Cheesecake Factory material?
Yeah.
Really?
She's acting like she's too big for Cheesecake Factory.
I said to you, hey, listen, we're going to go out on our first date. We're going to go to P.F. Chang's. Is that no good? If I said to you
P.F. Chang's, isn't that less? That's probably cheaper than
it is. Yeah, I think so.
Factory.
Yeah. If I said you were going to Fridays or Applebee's, I could understand you having a little bit of a problem. Sorry, Fridays and Applebee's. But you understand what I'm trying to say here.
There's also a part 2 of this video where the guys, it goes he reveals that they had a reservation for a pricier restaurant, but she was late to the date, an hour.
Oh, hell no.
That's on her.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
You're right.
And the part 2, she's apologizing profusely, and he wanted to take her home and everything. He was being the nicest guy.
You want to take her home?
Yeah,
yeah. Take her home to the parents,
and she was like, "Oh, you're gonna take me home? Oh, you really gonna take me home, huh?
You're really? Yeah. Not after the Cheesecake Factory.